The Jets fucking lost again to the Seahawks. It fucking sucked. Here we go to talk more about it. I fucking hate going to those games.
Hey, New York Jet fans from all around the world. Welcome to Laugh Through the Turbulence, a New York Jets podcast. The show that delivers you all your Jets content. Here are your hosts, John, Adam, and Monty. All the best to the New York Jet fans. Jets, 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 go Jets.
Our intro is really cool. It just sucks that we fucking suck.
Sucks that we suck ass. Yeah.
It sucks.
Our podcast is way better than the fucking Jets team is right now. You could tell we put actual thought and energy into our shit. We care, unlike this fucking organization.
You know what sucked, man? I went around the stadium. I started passing out fucking the cards. Our cards with our little fucking logo on it and all that, and also a little saying on it. Mm-hmm. And even at the end of the game, I was thinking about just dumping them on fucking cars, but I was like, this loss just fucking sucked, dude. I just wanted to get out of there. I got home in record time though. It took me 35 minutes to get home from the stadium.
As someone who did promotions in college, for nightclubs and shit, cars are a no-go. Total waste of time. Doesn't work.
I don't know, what I wrote on him was pretty good, but
oh yeah, I know, but you want to put it in a hand.
I know. All right, so let's do it. All right.
Whew, another stinker.
Yeah, that was tough, man. Thank you, Doug, for volunteering to pay me what I pay for those tickets, along with Jessica and Maya.
For being stalkers.
That's his wife and daughter. It was her first real football game. So, and I was like, dude, they're not worth what I'm and he was just like, I'll pay you. I'm more than happy to.
If you didn't care about the Jets, this actually wasn't, I guess, the worst game to go to, because it was pretty close, back and forth, yada yada, and then it looks like that they just kind of coughed it up at the end, like they always do. But to us fans who've been watching this shit for years, it's same old fucking Jets.
Yeah. Do we want to show the little short recap?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, all right. Here we go.
Back to Laugh Through the Turbulence, where being a Jets fan is like voluntarily sticking your hand into a wood chipper. Highly not recommended. On Sunday, the Jets pulled off yet another classic meltdown, this time against the Seattle Seahawks, holding a commanding 21-7 lead and on the verge of extending it to 28-7 with a wide-open Garrett Wilson touchdown. They instead delivered a 92-yard pick six to none other than former Jets first-round pick and number 92, Leonard Williams. Yes, you read that right. You truly can't make this shit up. From there, it was pure agony continued. Breece Hall fumbled on a promising drive. The Jets were hit with penalty after penalty, giving the Seahawks extended possessions. Devontae Adams also made an incredible catch, only to be called for offensive pass interference. And through it all, Jets fans braved the cold at MetLife Stadium, only to witness another masterpiece in misery. This season continues to be nothing short of punishing. To those loyal Jet fans who haven't yet abandoned ship, clinging on like the string quartet aboard the Titanic, you've made a huge mistake. Save yourselves while you still can. God, I fucking hate this team.
I mean, I wanted to put something in else besides the wood chipper, but
I want to put my head in the damn wood chipper.
Yeah. I realized I reused the clip of someone going through a wood chipper in one of the previous shorts. So I don't know, dude. It was fucking. You know what? That missed pass to Garrett Wilson. That was the craziest swing ever. So Seahawks score. We get a kickoff return for a touchdown, right? Then they fumble it again on the kickoff, and it was the third time they fumbled. Second time they lost it, right?
And it's from the same guy. It was Chenault.
Yeah, the same fucking guy. And then they start moving. They look good. Garrett was wide open.
Underthrows it badly.
He overthrew it.
Overthrows it badly.
And then Leonard Williams dropped back in coverage, kind of like the same sequence in the pick six with the Vikings, basically. DN pulls back. The longest touchdown by a defensive lineman in history was that play. Which is unbelievable because the dude is almost 300 fucking pounds. No. You're telling me that someone faster than a 300-pounder can't catch up to him. When meanwhile, Budda Baker almost did the pick six, and DK Metcalf ran a mile to catch him.
It's not unbelievable because this team just sets people up to do their absolute best against us. Remember when I said Kyler Murray is going to break some records today? And then Kyler Murray broke like 2 franchise records when he played us. There's been multiple teams that have broken records or done crazy shit that no one's ever done against us.
Well, the Jets are also breaking those records themselves, right? Aren't they the first team in NFL history to be 3-9 after being favored in 8 of their first 12 games? Yep. Right? Like some of the things they're doing, it's outlandish as well. And just one note on the Leonard Williams touchdown return. The reason why they didn't have the DK Metcalf chasing down Budda Baker is because nobody on this team gives a shit anymore, right? They saw the pick and they were like, all right, whatever. That's what it was. And that's just a microcosm of what happens when you have a team that's checked out and doesn't care. I feel like outside of Garrett and Brees, I don't think anyone, any of the skill position players really care.
Do we have anyone that runs a 4-3 like him?
Corley, I think, is close, but I don't think he was on the field.
DK runs a solid 4-3.
Yeah, so I think Corley runs like a 4-4.
I don't think
there's anyone. Maybe Brees,
maybe Garrett, but
Brees
he's not big
enough.
Brees is probably
the closest one.
Brees would probably be the closest one.
Yeah, but the way
I don't think we could have caught him.
I think everything was lined up left. There was, I believe, there was no running back in the backfield on that one.
Brutal.
And Garrett was lined up probably solo on the right, so it was kind of a perfect storm for that pick six to go wrong. Like,
you know what? I also feel like it just shows no matter who, right? Aaron Rodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Probably unanimous. He's gonna go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But it just shows, man, even at this stage of your career, no matter how great you are, when he missed Garrett, you don't get a lot of those chances in the NFL. Nope. And when you miss that, the chances of something going disastrously wrong are really high. And that, the next play, he just throws that pick six. And I don't know, man. I feel like this is kind of Rodgers' last stand in a Jets uniform these next 5 games.
What's the opposite of a swan song? Like, they're that's what we're seeing here. Like,
I think it's just like
it is crazy how this team has this organization or this franchise has the ability to just suck all goodness out of anyone that comes here. Like, no matter how good you are, if you come here, you're gonna play your worst football. Like, I'm talking about bad, worst.
I don't know, man. I feel like
pretty incredible.
I mean, look at Tyron.
He sucks.
He's old and banged up. He's been hurt every year the past.
I don't know if I believe that.
Years.
I will say this: Bashanu was actually terrific.
I think
not a single pressure. Not a single pressure.
Yeah, the young guys are fine.
Yeah,
and Sauce actually had a good game. Actually, as crazy as it sounds, Sauce actually had a very, very fucking good game.
Secondary
played very good
in general.
Yeah, he played very well. DJ Reed was a little weak. Yeah, and Will McDonald erupted again. He's gonna get a Pro Bowl nod because of the sacks,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's crazy that the penalty bug just reared its ugly head in the second half after a very free penalty first half, relatively.
Yeah, I mean, the D-line actually did what it was supposed to do, so then the secondary could do what it was supposed to do. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. Like, if he can't pass, then the D-line gets to sack him, which they got 3 sacks. So, I mean, I think they were serviceable this week. They weren't great, but they weren't bad.
D-line tackling was bad. Sherwood and Quincy both had great games to my standard.
Yeah, I mean, I
more penalties.
I mean,
we were over this.
I feel like, John, going back to your point on the D-line, I mean, this just shows outside of Quinnen, that interior defensive line needs an absolute overhaul this offseason, and
Well, you get Jermaine back. You get Jermaine back.
Yeah, but again, I mean, he's more of an edge rush type, right?
Crucial.
You need these big guys in the middle of their defensive line, versatile guys that can play inside, outside, but also who the hell knows what this defense is going to be scheme wise next year. You know, with who comes in, who takes over. But regardless, I think that they need a talent infusion on the interior of that defensive line.
It could turn to a 3-4 next year.
Yeah, they don't have 3-4 personnel, which is a disaster.
It needs to turn
Really?
into something.
I don't know about that, man. They got two guys that can basically run mics at linebacker, right? Which obviously would be.
Yeah, but you have to look at
you need the line. You need an oppressively good.
I know, but you got Will McDonald, who's bendy enough.
He's not a 3-4.
He's not a 3. He'd be an outside
He's
linebacker.
an outside linebacker.
That means he has to drop into coverage.
He's not a down lineman.
You don't have 3-4 personnel. Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald are wasted in a 3-4.
Well, I don't know about Jermaine. I think Jermaine could play down.
Jermaine's not.
I think Jermaine could play down. I think Quinnen could play down. But you need another guy on the right there.
Well, no, but what you also need is you need that space-eating 325-pound nose tackle. You know, that's like mandatory in a 3-4. You know, and with that, I don't know, man. I don't think this team has the personnel to play at 3-4.
Can we talk about penalties for a second? Because
Go
we had
for it.
12 of them. 12.
How many in the last drive?
Oh, my God.
How many in the last drive that extended the whole thing?
What was it, like 4?
It was a lot.
I mean, look, but this is, again, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? This is a team that's checked out. They're done. You know, and I think
I thought we had done it, but you know what? It was funny. I was watching one of our older videos, and I had said it's like a roulette wheel. You know, we spin the wheel, and it's like, all right, we're gonna suck at this week, and it's different shit every week.
Yeah,
this week penalties came back up again.
It was 4. It was 4 penalties. It was
4 in that last drive. That's what I thought.
Michael Carter, too many men on the field. Then it was Stigger's pass interference. Weird that he was in the game. Then it was horse collar tackle on Solomon Thomas. And then there was the which one was this?
Which, by the way,
it was offsides on the fumble they recovered. Yeah.
Which horse collar tackle means usually you're getting beat.
Yeah.
So that's what that was.
This is not fun. This has not been a fun season, man. It's really not been a fun season.
But
dude, how could we be this bad at penalties? So, like, I don't understand. Like, we're playing undisciplined football. I get it, but like, this is really fucking bad.
Well, I mean, look at the guys. But look at the guys who, first of all, too many men on the field. That's a coaching penalty.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So that's a coaching penalty, right? The pass interference and the horse collar was on Stiggers, a guy who was a 5th or 6th round pick, and Solomon Thomas, who probably should be playing a lot of snaps in the NFL anyway, right? Mm-hmm. And then the last penalty was an offsides on Will McDonald, undisciplined, right? Those are 2 guys
it's all coaching.
That aren't that talented, that shouldn't be playing, and then 2 on the coaching.
As I said, you don't have Ulbrich focused solely on the defense because you let go of Salah. Who's 4-1 since becoming a consultant.
But listen,
while we're 1-5,
they were also penalized under Salah, who was just focused on being the head coach.
I'm saying the rally the troops shit, like that doesn't, and like Ulbrich's defense, when Ulbrich was focused on the defense, dude, like, they didn't, the penalties were like the one thing the defense was bad at, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
everything else
now it's just not functioning.
But also, I feel like
we were bad before that.
But listen, here's the other thing that when we talk about the defense,
the Broncos and the Vikings games,
I think people are just really discounting the fact that this is Salah's defense.
Yep.
It's not Ulbricht's defense, right? So when you remove the architect of the defense. Then the defense is going to be terrible. It doesn't matter if Ulbrich was focusing on it; it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, you know where it comes out. Where it comes out is in the fact that the defense had, our O line got decimated. Our D line got decimated. Thanks a lot, Joe D. Our rest in peace. So our D-line got decimated. We didn't have the push up front. We didn't have the success up front that we needed. So the rest of the defense suffered. Saleh now, if he was still here, would have had to gone back to the drawing board during the bye week or what have you, maybe rearrange some things, maybe make a personnel change or an addition, whatever, and figure it out. With Ulbrich not only not being able to focus on defense, but also having to be head coach, there was just no way now, because he doesn't have the defensive mind that Saleh has. He can run with something that someone like Saleh created. He can't recreate what Saleh did.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, right? It's like it was Saleh kind of saying, here's what I want to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Help me teach it.
Yeah.
Right? And now the teacher isn't there. So it's like it was a disaster to begin with.
Yeah, no matter how good the substitute teacher is, they ain't gonna replace the person who did the whole curriculum,
Right, exactly. So
yeah.
What was the thing? I saw something, right? Like basically it was like the stuff that Woody basically had interfered with what Douglas wanted to do. And it was like a massive list. Like Douglas tried to pay Price, but he wouldn't budge on Price. Then, they had to resolve for Reddick and all that shit happened, right? He wanted Judy. Woody wouldn't want to trigger on that, right?
I agree with that.
List. There was a massive list on that, right? That basically, Woody just like handcuffed, I guess, Douglas, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Some of those things are good. Like I didn't want Jerry Jeudy,
Judy now,
and I didn't want to pay Bryce Huff that much money.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that
Huff got what Huff got, though,
With those,
well, Huff isn't the reason the D-line's suffering. It's really more JFM.
JFM. Who knows?
I mean,
JFM and Tremaine.
Will McDonald has 10 sacks right now. Huff had 10.5, and there's still 5 games left. So I think if you look at sack production, it was fine. Yeah. But I think the problem is more so that you lost JFM, you lost Quentin Jefferson, and you replaced them with Kinlaw and these other ancillary players. You didn't have to bring Solomon Thomas back. You could have found someone better.
Else. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the love is for Solomon. It's so weird. I mean,
he's a
man of the year type of guy. I understand because he's always a candidate, but my God, Quentin Jefferson would have been I fucking hate this team. I hate this team, man.
I think that, thinking about it from this perspective, right? I think it going this way, it hurts now, right? And it's awful and it's terrible and it's ridiculous. But I mean, man, this is rock bottom, right? Like it can't get worse than this in terms of seeing change, reevaluating. So you hope that, this is kind of the springboard to better things. Now, I think a big wrench in that is that Trump has decided not to make Woody the ambassador to the UK. Now, I read that there is a possibility that he could get another position in the administration.
Well, would that really make a difference? Is Chris Johnson really more qualified than Woody?
Chris Johnson decided on Adam Gase. Remember that?
Yeah, he meddles less, but I don't know that I hate all of Woody's meddling.
But here's what I would say, right? Is that Chris Johnson meddles less, and I think that you give him a chance.
You need Chris Johnson to basically be in the stretch, the main stretch that we had right now, right? So
right. I would have liked Woody to be a little bit more aggressive like this, but a long time ago. That's the problem, is he's doing all this reactionary shit when the team's already terrible and the team's already shown that this is not a team that has what it needs to win. Now he wants to jump in and, I want to do this and do that. And no, you can't do this. You can't do that. Where the fuck was this 2 years ago? Could have really helped out.
Yeah.
Could have helped.
But I also think, but if you really look at it, just going back to that point, Monty, 2 years ago, think about 2 years ago, all they needed was a quarterback, right? Like if we look at 2 years ago, this time in 2022, right, this team was better than anyone thought it would be, and it was just, man, you gotta, you need a quarterback. You
need a line too.
Well, I think the
team's good now.
Now it's okay.
Now it's good. No, it's good. It's a good old line now.
I think the bigger point was quarterback. They got the quarterback. What more could anybody have done? If you really look at it from like just an acquisition perspective, I mean, was the outside of trading JFM, was there a move that we really hated that Joe Douglas made? Right? I mean, he didn't pay, and you could be debatable on Bryce Huff. Was he overpaid, underpaid, paid exactly right? But I mean,
I'm okay with that one.
He brought in Tyron Smith.
Woody shit, maybe.
Yeah, we were happy about
that.
That
is the real thing. We don't really know everything that goes on back there.
And I also think that those articles, right? It's like the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? Not all of those things are right, and not all of them are wrong.
Yeah.
So I think going by an article like that, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I think the only thing that really matters is what we see on the field, and what we see on the field is a disaster.
You know, it's crazy. How many interceptions do you think the Jets have this year?
2.
It's crazy. That's secondary.
Both by Eccles.
Both by Eccles, right?
Yep, same person. It's just.
But did you see the one stat about Leonard Williams and the Giants? Leonard Williams has an interception, and the Giants' entire secondary does not. I think they have 2 interceptions also, and they're both from linebackers.
Well, the crazier stat is that Jason Pierre-Paul, a guy with 8 fingers or 8.5 or whatever you want to call it, has a more recent interception than Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
and that's
I actually remember that one. I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's
also the Jets are the first team in NFL history to lose to 2 quarterbacks they drafted in the same season.
Yeah. Yep.
And luckily, Zach Wilson wasn't playing in the Broncos game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He could have, and it would have been the same thing, right? Because they only put up 9 points, right?
Yeah, going back to what I was saying about us sucking about different things every week. It's like now we have back-to-back games where we held the team under 100 rushing yards, like back-to-back games. That should be a win, but only the Jets can turn that into a total loss.
Yeah, I will say this, though. Kenneth Walker, even though he didn't get 100 yards, he fucking runs really well. He runs really well. The tackle.
Oh, he's a beast power runner, man. He's a beast. I remember I picked him up in fantasy when he first broke out, and I was like,
yeah. I had him as a keeper after his first year. I should have done it again this year, but I had James Cook 2 rounds later as an option, and I went with that.
Yeah.
That was the move.
That was definitely a better move. But yeah, I mean, like we get the running defense, finally in check a little bit, except for freaking Charbonnet. We let up the winning touchdown, but whatever. And then it's like everything else just falls apart. And Rodgers is fully at that point where we talked about. I wish I could find the quote. I forgot who it was, and I've said it to you, Adnan. You've said it before. It was like Joe Montana or someone.
AFC Championship game, Brady Super Bowl, Manning Super Bowl, Rodgers. This.
No.
It said Montana. I think it was David or Drew Brees came out and he was like, I could win you a game for sure, right?
I could come out and do it for a couple games for a whole season.
For 17. Nope. And Rodgers is at that point.
That is fully where Rodgers is.
Nanny has said it. A bunch of other people have said it. We've seen it watching the games. It's like Rodgers is making a pre-snap determination of where he wants to throw the ball, and that's where he's throwing it because he doesn't want to get hit.
Yeah.
And so I think, unfortunately, I think the Rodgers experiment has to
Which
end
is crazy because he's not even getting hit that much.
No, and when he does have time, he's jittery. It's,
There's so many other quarterbacks, right? And there's like, I think last I checked, it was about half the league that's letting up more sacks per game and more hits on QB per game than the Jets are.
Yeah.
Like we're not at the bottom on that stat, which is we're in the middle of the pack.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
You want me to look it up?
Yeah, look up sacks per game and then hits on quarterback.
Okay. I could do it by. Well, right now I don't have that ability, but I could do it by.
Look,
you could just do total then.
I mean, we know what we're looking at, right? It's just we know that they're not bottom third in the league in that.
No, they're not.
You know, they're one of the better teams, and the offensive line has been a decently better offensive line. And I also think a lot of those pressure numbers were due to Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
Right? So you look at Olu, he didn't allow one sack or one pressure or anything last game, right? So, you know, I just think that he's
I can do pressure to sack rate. Pressure to sack rate. Why do I do that? Pressure to sack rate. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it for at least 200 dropbacks, right? Fuck it, right? Yeah, Rodgers is pretty low on that list.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually no. Pressure rate 23% of his dropbacks. It's kind of in the middle of the. It's a little.
That's
higher.
what I said.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Middle of
That's
the
what I
pack,
said.
not bad.
Bro,
Not bad.
If you're middle of the pack,
Tua's way higher.
there's
Herbert
a lot of
higher,
teams that are
Darnold
doing
higher.
better than us, that their quarterbacks are performing better than ours, that aren't as high on that list.
Yeah, you know who's really low on that list?
Who?
Josh Allen and Lamar. The guys are probably going to get the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Saquon might have a case for it this year.
Saquon's been a beast, man. He's been awesome.
You know, who do you think's the highest graded quarterback right now? Passing grade.
Darnold.
No, it's Joe Burrow.
Burrow's having like an all-time season on a terrible
crazy.
team.
Right.
His season is unbelievable. He leads the league in touchdown passes. Although Lamar has the best ratio right now. It's gonna be Lamar or fucking Josh Allen at this point.
I would bet you Josh Allen would get it. I think there's just Lamar fatigue a little bit for the MVP. And I think Allen's having a great season, and the Bills might be the number one seed. So I think it's probably Allen in the lead right now.
And why can't we play 4 quarters of good football? Like, what is the deal with us being either like we're not even like a
we only did it against
team.
the Patriots. That was it. That was just
we're not even a second half team or a first half team. We're a 1/2 team.
Mystery team.
We are good for 1/2 of football, and which half that is, you have no fucking idea which one's going to be.
Again, I'll sound like a broken record. I mean, it's just the team's checked out, man. You're not going to be, you're not going to have any consistency whatsoever when you're checked out. When you're just like whatever they're playing at the string. You have a quarterback who doesn't want to get hit. You have a quarterback who's not making reads on offense. On the defensive side, the defensive line has been awful. I mean, the 2 linebackers have been excellent all season for the most part. McDonald has been good, but the defense is too inconsistent. And right, it's not a good situation, and they're getting exposed. Everything bad that could happen has happened, and you can't find consistency doing that.
They shot up to a big lead, and then they just played not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah,
like if you're up 14 versus a team that's doing as well as the Seahawks are, you got to go for blood, man. You should be trying to beat their ass, hit them while they're down, get all your licks in that you can. Like, don't let up. They let up. They literally let up, and it was just.
I mean, you have nothing to lose at this point.
From a coaching perspective, look at the play calling in the first half versus the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look, this coaching staff isn't coming back. A lot of these players aren't coming back. I mean, it's time to just let it all loose these last 5 games. I think that's a good segue into the Dolphins preview, because that's what they got to do against the Dolphins. Just let it all out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's really nothing to lose on this Dolphins game and this Florida trip that we have right now between the Dolphins, and then we play the Jags right after that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically going to stay in Florida.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like the Dolphins are a totally beatable team. They have their problems. Like, they were just, what was it that just came out recently? There was like a bunch of tweets about, Vic Fangio when he called the players a little bit soft, and, he had his changes that he tried to make, and he got a lot of heat for them. Like, bringing in Van Ginkel, and then Van Ginkel walked when he did, and now look how Van Ginkel's doing on the Vikings.
He was good with
beasting.
Miami. Yeah,
he was good on Miami too. And it's just like, Miami has its issues. They have, their strong offense, obviously good receivers, but Waddle's not really playing.
Super banged up. They're super banged up. The Dolphins too. I'm looking at their injury report. It's fucking massive.
Yeah.
It's
Waddle's not playing what he needs. Jalen Waddle's not playing what he's used to be playing at. Tyreek's going to do Tyreek things, but
Ramsey's actually having a great season, by the way. Ramsey's having a sneaky great season.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter because we have 2 all-pro or whatever, high-end wide receivers, and that shouldn't matter, but it does because
Bradley Chubb turns off of IR. yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. Oh shit, their defense is super beat up. I'm just looking at right now. It's like
I'm not worried about the Dolphins' defense really like that. Like,
are you?
No one is. No one is. They're not a strong defensive team. They're like the Lions extra light.
I mean, look, I think when you look at this
spread
game,
is on that game. What do you think? Did you guys look at all or no?
I didn't, but I would say it's probably 3.5.
I would think it's 4.5 or something like that.
I'm showing Dolphins giving 6.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're favored again?
No.
No, the Dolphins are favored by 6.
They're favored by 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone does not gamble that much.
Well, you said
giving 6. Giving 6 points. That's what it means. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You're probably better off this way because that was one of my losing bets. The Jets again.
Yeah,
I took the Jets
for the +2, and then it moved to a pick 'em, which was so fucking weird. It was so fucking weird. Wow, the Jags Titans game, just so you know, is also on that register. The cheapest ticket is $11 for that game. Oh my god, that's
going to be a terrible one.
That is ridiculous. Saints Giants, $22 is the cheapest tickets, and it's in New York, which is kind of amazing if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is bad.
That's gonna be a bad game.
Cowboys as low as $19, which is awesome, and that's a Monday night game.
Well, those teams suck.
Yeah, they do, but it's the Cowboys. You know what I mean? And it's a Bengals team that's like, Bengals. They're so much better than their record says. You know what I mean? They really are. Like Jamar Chase might get the triple crown in receiving. Joe Burrow is throwing the best football right now amongst everybody. Yeah. But Bengals be Bengals, and Trey Hendrickson actually leads the league in sacks right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's going on? What the fuck,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way anyone could predict the Jets to beat the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, I guess it's.
Listen, it's going to be one of those games, man, where I'm telling you, Tyreek is going to go nuts. It's going to be in Achane, Tyreek, all these fast guys they have. Mike McDaniel is going to devise some crazy game plan where it's just going to be 100,000 crossers. The Jets are going to get all mixed up in the middle of the field. Tyreek's going to embarrass the safeties because there's going to be some kind of miscommunication between Reed and the safeties or Sauce and the safeties. I think it's going to be bad. That's why they're favored by 6. I think it's going to be a bad game for the Jets.
Yeah, it might be even worse than that, but
I'll put a little on the Jets money line. Fuck it. Like at this point, it's just like I've lost so much money at this team. And by the way, I told everyone in my section that I was not renewing for next year, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not either." Like again, like I think one group said they were going to do it, and they were like, "You can come anytime." Even the father and son duo that sits in my row, the ones that I don't know their names, but every time I pass them to get to my seat, I always just shake their hand like we're conducting business basically. And like they stop showing up too. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm never gonna see them again.
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody wants to pay for this. Who wants to
Why
go?
would you?
It's especially now. The weather's cold. It's the holidays. Like, why would you waste your
I know. I may go golfing on Sunday. It's actually be kind of nice out. It's gonna be 47 degrees.
Oh, just getting
Inside.
back up there.
Yeah, I mean, I love golfing, dude. It's my sport now. It really is. All right.
You said
Yeah,
fuck football.
I mean, like, fuck my golf game, dude. I mean, my golf game isn't any good. But
There's
like,
always fantasy.
yeah, I'm doing good in that department, but I just,
It's not the same, I know,
It's-
as having a team that actually wins and being able to root for them.
Well, for every Jets fan that does fantasy, pretty much fantasy is the only thing that's really good for them for football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is. So like we're kind of used to just like focusing on our fantasy teams. But the problem is the expectation was just so high this year again, I mean, at least last year, the day after the Monday night game, it was announced that Rodgers was done for the year, right? So you kind of knew, okay, let's focus on fantasy at this point, right?
Right.
And it was just like low expectations, super low, right? Their Super Bowl odds dropped dramatically, right? After that point, right? But this year, 7th best odds, if you said they were going to be 9-3 or 3-9 at this point, most people would have said 9-3, right?
Yep.
Just because this roster was better on paper than it was last year. Something.
How many have we lost straight? 8 now?
No, we have the.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Oh, the Houston. Yeah, the Houston.
8 of 9.
So I think this is 3 in a row.
3 in a row. 8 of last 9.
Got it. That's what it is. Yeah.
Really, like we didn't even have a stretch like that during Zach Wilson's era.
No.
Except maybe the first year because they were 4-13, 4-12 the first year, right?
Yeah, they're all rookies.
Although I wonder about that if it's like, because with the Jets now it's like they're so talented that I feel like teams, even if they don't want to or don't think they need to, they kind of have to take us seriously no matter how bad we've played. Whereas I feel like in previous years, like some teams maybe just didn't take us seriously and we were able to pull out victories on them.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that plays into it, because I think that plays into it a little bit.
I mean, that's an interesting point, right? Because one of the things that people would say about, like, I'm watching the Knicks right now, right? One of the things they say about the Knicks is, before last season, they made the playoffs twice in a row, but the Knicks played hard every night. Where in the NBA, during the regular season, teams take time, teams take games off. And then in the playoffs, when everybody plays hard against you, it made things a lot harder for the Knicks. So I think that's a fair point, right? Where you look at the Jets and you're kind of like, can Zach beat us? Whatever,
And then you're like, oh shit! Like I'm pretty sure that definitely happened in the Chiefs game, like where we almost won that game.
100%.
Because there's no way like that he just was good, because he's not good.
You know what's crazy? So I was at the Jet game, obviously. Then yesterday, I actually went to the Rangers game, and that was a fucking disaster. I thought about going to this Knicks game but I was scared of going over 3 fucking days, man. But of course, like, the Knicks are fucking crushing the Magic. The Magic are really fucking good, and the Knicks are playing very good.
Yeah,
they are playing very good.
But they're not a terrible. They're not a bad team.
Knicks are a very good team.
They're a good team. So
they're gelling right now. That's the thing. It took a little while, but now they're gelling.
So you should have gone. I love watching Knicks games.
Yeah, but we had to do this fucking show, right?
Mm-hmm. MSG is a great freaking
MSG's
great
awesome,
arena.
Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I God, it just sucks too, because this was also our first year doing the podcast, and this is the fucking year that we have to deal with this shit,
Right. Oh my god.
And like I was like season ticket holder. Like I'm proud. Like I even carry the fucking the first pass they give me, right? This fucking thing, it's just season ticket. So you can all see at home where I sit. This is my seat. I have 4 of these seats, right? But this is the one I always fucking sit in. 318, row 19, 19. And no longer is that going to be the case. No one in my friend group was like, what the fuck? Except for one guy. It was Billy Punch, and you guys know who he is, right?
Yep.
He's a diehard Giants fan, right? And he's just like, I'm surprised you're so diehard and all that shit. I'm like, dude, have you fucking seen what's been going on?
Yeah.
I saw two guys in the fucking bathroom before the game. They had the fucking like poop emoji hats on. And they looked kind of warm. I'm not gonna lie. I'm wearing Jets gear, and I was just like, that is. I almost took a picture and just put it on, but it was kind of a weird time to do it because you're in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Not
it's
really a
weird to
place
take a picture in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, or do I wait outside the bathroom and be like, you didn't just see me, like in the bathroom, like staring you
Well,
down.
then that makes it even
like
more
this,
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
we're not
yeah.
talking about Tyrod Taylor.
Not talking about Tyrod
I
Taylor.
mean, we could
no.
we could
I'll
talk.
do 2 seconds of that.
No,
If
no,
you
no,
want to
no,
read
not
about
a-
Tyrod Taylor and what's going on with him and his
Listen,
ex-girlfriend, go read about it. It's
doesn't
fucking
matter.
fascinating.
I'm gonna stop the
Adnan
recording.
didn't want to talk about it because he's like, we
I'm
gotta
gonna
talk about
stop the
more
recording.
football stuff.
I'm gonna stop the recording literally if you talk about it.
Stop the recording. I'll just
We're
restart it, dude.
We're not doing this.
Yeah.
All right, so
but-
score predictions.
I'm gonna say 27-13 Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 24-10. Yeah, 24-10 Dolphins. Blowout.
I am going to say the Jets are going to score 24 points. They're going to lose 27-24. Because the number of one-score games they've lost, it's fucking bad shit. Actually, that's an interesting stat. They always say, like, if you lose a lot of one-score games, like, that means you're closer than you think, right?
Well, I mean, look at hold on, look at the Chargers last year. They were awful in one-score games.
Well,
and
we
now
know the
this year,
teams
with better coaching, right, and also one score losses usually turn around year to year. If you have a lot of one-score wins, the next year it kind of goes the opposite way. Like,
it makes sense.
Next year might be tough.
And they had a lot of one-score wins last year, actually, if you really think about it. They didn't have really a blowout last year.
It makes sense because they're talented, right? We know that. We know this. We knew this going into the season. That's why we were so excited. But we didn't realize what an impact coaching would have negatively on this level of a talented team. You figure that you're this talented. You figure this talented of a team, coaching wouldn't matter as much as it does, but it does.
But hold on.
The one-score record, right? If that's okay, just real quick. Mm-hmm. Titans 1-0, right? Obviously, the Patriots and Niners were not one-score games. Broncos 1-1, Vikings 1-3, Bills 1-4, Steelers were blown out. Patriots 1-5, Texans they won by 8, but that was pretty much a blowout until the end when they scored very much so at the end with the onside kick, right? But okay. And then Cardinals blowout, Colts they lost. They lost a lot of one-score games. You know what I'm saying?
What were you going to say, Adnan?
Yeah, I was going to say, Monty, like to your point about like, what do you mean we didn't? We were talking about that. We were talking about that all off season. How is this offensive staff going to, be able to help this team and how big of a detriment it was? We knew that coming in.
No, we knew it was a liability, but I thought it wouldn't be a liability until like later in the season when teams have had a lot of time to watch us and like playoffs. That's when I thought it'd be a liability. I thought this team was.
You didn't think it would be like this. No one thought.
I thought this team would be dead in the water in the playoffs because we didn't have the coaching IQ and brain power to take us beyond game one of the playoffs, beyond wild card, beyond whatever week one of the playoffs. But I didn't think it would be this bad, this fast. No way.
No one did. There's no way anyone would have thought the Jets would have been bottom of the barrel unless you're just such a cynic.
Well,
but you're right. But you're right. You end up being right.
But if you also look at it, right, like
I told you guys, I left the chat with a bunch of guys that were just always ripping on me for the Jets early on, and I hopped out of the chat before the season started, and like Pazul, fucking asshole. He won't even text me about it because this is worse than I could have possibly imagined.
It got worse right after they fired Saleh. I think that wasn't the smartest decision to make, and I think that it snowballed from there. I mean, you realize when they fired Saleh, they were going into a Buffalo game that if they won, they would have been in first place in the division.
Yeah.
Right? Like firing Saleh at that point was a brain dead move.
Just reactionary Woody shit.
And that's what you worry about with this guy. And it reared its head at the worst possible time.
But it is good that we have actual adults in the room now advising on the decision for the new GM and coach situation.
Yeah,
that is good.
I mean, how much is he actually listening? Right? I don't know, man. I'm glad that I trust Spielman. I don't know how much how much trust I put in Tannenbaum, but at the same time, I mean, Woody has to be open. I don't know, man. He could get a call from Tom Brady tomorrow who says hire Matt Patricia, and he'd be like, yes, have to do what Tom Brady says, just like he listened to Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, yeah.
So who the guy's unpredictable. He's a fucking wild card.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, how are you that you run businesses and you do all these other things, but I guess, that's what happens with nepotism. You inherit something and then you think you're smart because you're able to run a thing that was already built and doing well from someone else's effort. Then you think you're good at everything else. You buy the Jets and you realize, hey, business is fucking hard.
Yeah,
football is fucking hard.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, you look at it's kind of the same thing with Jerry Jones. I mean, he inherit, the Cowboys. He's a self-made man in oil, but like him and Jimmy Johnson parted ways because Jerry Jones was furious that he wasn't getting credit for the Super Bowl wins. He thought he could do it without Jimmy Johnson. He won one Super Bowl with Barry Switzer, which was Johnson's team. And now, since then, the Jets have been to more championship games than the Cowboys. Right? It's the same shit. It's when people who don't know what they're doing try to do the thing they don't know about. It's deadly.
Yep.
So that's just as long as Woody's there. I don't know, man. We have plenty of time to discuss all that.
No, exactly. Yeah. For those, watching at home, we're gonna do an episode where we break down everything that went wrong with this season and how we got here and why. A lot of it's straightforward, but some of it might not be as straightforward once you really dig behind the numbers and the actions and. It really, from what I'm seeing so far, just in my research of it, it's like it really doesn't fall on just one person or entity or anything. It's really like a cascade of just incompetence. But more to come on that.
Yep.
But anyway, back to this Dolphins game. Damn,
I don't care anymore, man. I just don't care anymore. I just don't, man. I'm looking forward to the off season to just do our wacky shows.
But I would love for this to be an upset game. I would love this of all the games.
The Dolphins of
all the games every year. This is the one I look forward to for us to actually do well.
And I think there are.
I gotta hear it from all these fucking Dolphins I know.
But I think you also got to look at what does this team have for next year? You want to watch Olu really keep playing well, so that you have your left tackle of the future. You're going to be watching Timmons. You have your center of the future, right? You have Brees. You have Garrett. You're going to be looking for some of the younger guys. So I think there is stuff still to watch and still to hope for, but it's more of an individual thing than it is a team success thing.
Yeah, you also want to see ABT, who's playing very well too.
Yeah, and John Simpson,
Morgan Moses, are we going to bring him back? I think so, although he's getting hurt.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can say
Carter Warren had to come in too.
I don't think we can say anything about who's coming back until we know who the GM and coach and the coaching staff is.
O-line, you don't really change year after year, especially if that's the one thing that's kind of working, right? That's the hardest thing to really put together fast.
I mean, look, you never know, man. You never know when someone new takes over. That's the whole thing. That's why there's always angst when there are new CEOs and new new owners and new managers and new GMs, in any industry, because you have no idea.
Because they
This is
usually
what I
fire
think,
people.
real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, this is going to be a rebuild. I don't think it's going to be as crazy a rebuild as we've seen before, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
It
look, they
doesn't
have a
need
lot
to
more
be.
talent.
Doesn't really
right?
need to be that much of a rebuild.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out quarterback again, right? You got to figure out quarterback. Like, that's the biggest mystery. What are you going to do at quarterback, right?
Yep.
And then you need to fill some holes on defense right now, right? It's obviously the interior of the defense, right? You're going to get your main back, so you're going to have Jermaine and Will McDonald, right? Reddick's probably gone, but that's okay. You're going to need a safety, a good fucking safety to pair up with Tony Adams, right?
Yep.
And you have to figure out Mosley's contract, right? It's pretty
Mosley's
much
gone. I think
Mosley's
Mosley's
gone. Yeah, but you got to figure that out to some degree, right? You have to figure out what
You're
to do
still
with that.
paying them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really it. And like also Devontae, that's a question too. I mean, you're probably gonna restructure. I mean, like let's say if you have Rodgers, you're definitely gonna be keeping Devontae, right?
John, it's
You
not-
might
If
need
you
to.
don't, you keep Devontae anyway, right?
John,
Yeah, you might need to keep them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not as simple as you're making it out to be. There are a lot
Tight
of
end you need to
decisions
figure
that
out
need
too
to
again.
be. Yeah, I mean, look, there are a lot of decisions that need to be made. I'm telling you, when a new coach and GM come in, there are guys that you're like, they're cornerstones, and the GM and head coach don't see it. Right? We can say anything we want as fans, but we don't know anything until those new guys come
I
in,
know.
evaluate the roster, and decide what they want to do. They could say, listen, Moses has been great. We don't want an older right tackle. Right? We want to rebuild that
That would be
position.
maybe
We have no
yeah,
idea.
yeah, that's arguable.
We have no clue. So
Cost effective. But anyway, you want to do final thoughts?
Yeah, let's do it.
Monty,
Yeah,
you
I'll
can
go ahead. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the game that I hate for us to lose more than any other game every year. I, grew up and spent a lot of time in South Florida. I got a bunch of shit talking Dolphins fans who, no matter how terrible they are, as long as they're not as bad as we are, they're going to talk all the shit, even though they're going to be on the couch right next to us watching the actual good teams play in the playoffs. Miami looked friggin' awful against the Packers over Thanksgiving there. Just not good, but it's also the Packers who are playing pretty much damn near lights out football. So take that with a grain of salt. 6.5, I think that's worrisome, but if it's one thing the Jets are good at, it's ruining their own future. And at this point, at any point for the rest of the season, us winning games is now a detriment. So now that turns on, in my opinion, the Jets in terms of stepping it up to actually make wins. It's literally the most Jets shit to do is to ruin our pick for the future. Because right now the smart, good, prudent thing would be pack it in, let's lose out and hope for the best pick we can get. And then, maybe draft the QB, whatever the needs that we feel that we need to address in the offseason. We now have a great pick to do it. But no, the Jets are the type to now, figure it out and win like the last 3 games and like ruin their chance at like a decent pick and like instead have like a middle of the pack pick that's not really super impactful. So I still think at any time lightning can strike and we can win this game. I think the Dolphins are banged up. I think that Tua is a concussion away from, not playing football maybe ever again. So, at any time, I know the Jets do have a pretty, we're pretty good hitters, when we're not tackling at, bottom of the barrel rates in this friggin' league. We actually can, come up with a sack and come up with a good tackle here and good hit here and there. So all it takes is one Will McDonald sack, and next thing you know, Tua's out. Then that team is a totally different team.
You need Quinn and Sack to knock out Tua.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, probably. Anyway, it's just, it could happen, and then we could end up with, Tua not in the game, and then Miami is completely beatable at that point. with the full game of Tua, they probably smoke us, but there is always that chance. So I don't know. I think they definitely lose this game still, but I wouldn't be surprised if we turn this one around. So, we'll see how it goes, but I just hate all of this. It's just, I hate myself. That's it.
Okay, go ahead, Non.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that this game, is what it is, just like the rest of them are. Like I said, the only thing to kind of look at now is the young guys. How do they look? Do they keep progressing? Do they keep, getting better? I can't wait, and hopefully this happens while he's still on the Jets. I would love to see Garrett Wilson with a good quarterback. That would be amazing. But I think that
a performing quarterback. How about that? That's a real fucking thing.
I mean, listen, Rodgers is a bad quarterback right now. It's okay to say that. He's a bad quarterback right now.
Right now. Yeah.
And so I think that for me, just watch the young guys and just don't take it too seriously moving forward because it's not worth it. They didn't take it seriously all season, so we should take it seriously now. Yeah, too many mistakes, too much nonsense for us to care now. So hope for health and production from the young guys and just, take the game in stride.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because Roger still has to go on McAfee every fucking Tuesday, and he does. And he's like, goals 17 games. He most likely wants to come back here of all things. That's what he said last week. And it's just like me, I'm just like looking at mock drafts at this point.
Yeah.
For the next season. And actually, PFF had a really interesting mock draft for us.
Mm-hmm.
They had us at the 6 box. That's where we sit right now. They actually had us taking Will Johnson out of Michigan, which I thought was interesting. That's the cornerback. His Reed's gone. I was like, okay. And then Milroe was going to be the next pick, and then tight end at 70 with the Vanderbilt kid. I just hate that we're back here again. I just hate it so much. Like I am defeated. I'm so defeated these days. I don't even really watch too much other football anymore. You know what I mean? Like I try to, you know what I mean? Like I used to love just like sitting on the couch every Sunday, if the Jets were on the road, right? Watch the Jets and then like go watch, just snort football for like 7 hours of commercial free football, right?
Yeah.
Taking that joy out of me even, Like I didn't even watch the Broncos. Like I was more than happy to miss the Broncos Browns game, even though that was an amazing game from what I saw from the highlights, right? I didn't, I barely watched Thanksgiving football also. I just hate football right now more than ever. And it just like this is what you did to me, man. This is what you did to me, the Jets. I used to snort football more than anybody, right? And now I'm a golfer. Like what you do to me?
I'm a de facto Packers fan. Like just my fiance is a big Packers fan, so I have to watch.
She's so lucky.
I know she's so lucky. It's like they just no matter when they're wrong, they're still right.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy, and this team.
And Adnan doesn't golf, despite the fact that he's in a better climate for it.
Yeah.
When I go visit you, we're gonna go golfing every fucking day.
Yeah. Fair enough.
My God, I just fucking hate football right now, man. I just want the season to end, right? Mm-hmm. I'm probably gonna tear up a little bit on the last game that I go to, for the Jets, in my seat.
How many years has it been for you?
11 years.
Crazy.
It's been 11 shitty years. I mean, 10 if you don't count the COVID year, right? Because we couldn't go to the games, right? But 11 years, I've those seats have been mine, It's just, and I've made every game except for I think one game I couldn't go to because I was not.
You said it right the other day. You were like, if you're a Jets fan at this point, you are not just a fan; you are a saint of suffering.
I fucking hate it, but you know what I hate more? I hate the fucking Dolphins, man.
Yeah,
I hate that fan base so much. I hate Patriot fans too. Don't get me wrong; I really hate them. But Dolphin fans have an unnecessary cockiness.
Yes, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. Like the Patriots at least won for a very long time, and the Bills are good right now. Even though I like Bills fans a lot, like they're really nice people. Like I worked with them, and
we have. Yeah, we love Bills fans.
They're good people. I like Bills fans. Fuck the Bills, but I like Bills fans.
Yeah.
But Dolphins, oh my god! And even though a lot of them are some of my friends, I have Dolphin friends. But when they go in Dolphin mode, it's like I just want to suplex them through a table off the top rope at SummerSlam or something, because it's just where do you get off being that cocky? You haven't won a playoff game in like 20 years.
I know. That's the thing that gets me. Haven't won a playoff game in how long, and you run your mouth. It's amazing.
But they can, because they're always better than us. That's the fucking part that I can't stand.
Yeah. I will say this, though, real quick. I didn't wear the swag for the last couple games. Big mistake.
Let's see.
Did you guys get your swag yet?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But in the meantime, guys, just remember, fuck the Dolphins. Fuck the Dolphins. Fuck the Dolphins, man.
And go Jets.
Yeah,
I guess.
go Jets.
Fuck them.
Next year.
Next year.
You'll see.
We'll see. Have a good one, people.
Laugh Through the Turbulence swag is now live and ready to make you look as good as Aaron Rodgers throwing a deep ball. Click in the bio to find out where to buy it. Get yours today and rep the green and white in style. And remember, wearing this swag doesn't make you look awesome. Actually, it increases our odds of the Jets winning. Well, maybe not, but it can't hurt to say that, right? Made probably from the finest child sweatshops from around the world that we do not endorse but still appreciate. Buy our swag today. We're giving you free content. Now it's time to empty your pockets and buy the stuff you don't need. Don't have a job? Well, you've got a kidney, right? Sell it and buy our swag. See if that's this old lady with a purse? Take her purse and pawn it and use the money to buy our swag. Got some money tucked away for your kid's college fund? Empty the account and buy our swag, because your kid is just going to waste that money on a gender studies major anyway. Buy our fucking swag, dude!
Woo!